Hello, guys, and welcome to the Who podcast. Today, I am joined by myself and Dan. Oh, myself is Will, by the way, but you know that because it's only me and Dan that listens back to this. So,
Yeah, it's really just
Dan,
us two, no one else.
yeah, what we're doing today?
So today, Will, on the Who podcast, we are going to be taking a look at Series 1/Series 14, and we're going to be talking about all of the episodes individually, all 8 of them, and then we're going to be ranking them amongst each other.
Sorry, I'll turn my phone on silent.
And then we're going to be ranking them amongst each other. I think what's going to be interesting about this, particularly, is that
Can we also have a talk about the future of Doctor Who? Because we'll start now. I just want to go straight into it. Why have we not heard anything from Disney yet?
about Series 3,
Yes.
because it's Series 3.
No.
Also, Comic-Con's
already-
this week.
No, but no. Like, if they're actually greenlighting it and having it on Disney Plus.
I know. Have you seen today that this BBC report has come out and they're citing Doctor Who as like their biggest earner of the year?
Well, obviously BBC will, because there's nothing on Wait, Doctor Who's bigger than the Traitors? No, I don't believe that.
As in the bit, I guess maybe it's more international sales. I don't know what it is, but
No. Because, sorry, this was my AirPod case. I saw someone on Twitter, so could completely be a lie.
Must be true.
That Disney Plus wasn't happy with Doctor Who's performance.
Right.
It also an insider source says.
Yeah. But
and I'm just going
what does that
along the lines
mean?
of what I think it said. Like, so it was in the top 7 of Disney Plus, behind The Simpsons and Star Wars, the shows. But I think they were expecting it to be the next big thing.
They obviously wanted
Disney
once,
Plus aren't happy with how.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried that we've not even had. They've greenlit season 3.
Yeah, but we've got Series 2, a spin-off.
No, but it's already been filmed.
Yeah,
Series
exactly.
2's filmed,
Oh,
so we
right,
need to know: are we getting Series 3?
Are we getting another series after that? I would be really, really surprised if we don't.
Well, we will do, but is it going to be distributed and have
With
Disney money, or are
Mm.
we going back to BBC only?
Yes, that is a question.
Or
Perhaps
is it
so.
time to just stop the show?
Whoa! Big accusation there. Big accusation.
We'll talk
big
about that
point there.
later. We'll talk about it later.
No, but the thing is, we don't know how well Disney performs generally. Like, some of the shows on there, we have no idea how many people actually watch them because they don't publish that information.
They don't publish the ratings, and obviously everyone's like the whole thing. Oh, the death of Doctor Who's because of the ratings. The ratings were good. I mean, to
They're
have
fine.
2 mil overnight
Mm.
from so the ratings, was that the iPlayer listener watchers, or was that the?
That was people watching it as it went out at like 6 o'clock, 6:30. Not
Will there
iPlayer.
be
Didn't
more
include
of
iPlayer.
them or iPlayer watchers?
I think there's probably more iPlayer watchers because
In
then
general?
I think there's at least 2 million people watching on iPlayer during the day, but not necessarily watching
At
it
release,
live.
or just
No, just like people watching it in the morning, watching it during the day,
when they can. Yeah.
but not watching it when it comes out on BBC One live. I think that was
Yeah.
the difference. I think you could easily double your viewing figures straight away like that. So obviously there was a bit of it was like 2 million, then it would jump and it was about 4 or 5 million or something like that an episode, which is like, it's not incredible, but
It was roughly
like,
about 4 mil
Yeah.
watchers, wasn't it? Which is not bad for terrestrial
it's what
TV,
most
not
shows are
bad.
now are like, but it's not
Apart
like
from the Traitors.
incredible. It's not like you get exceptions, like things like the Traitors and stuff like that are like, what was the Traitors, like 8 million,
10,
something like that?
yeah. And
Yeah,
the
it
final
did
was
really well.
Yeah.
Obviously that's an exception because it's like prime time, and Doctor Who is not prime time.
So speaking of Doctor Who not
on
being
a Saturday maybe.
prime time, how do you think how do you think Doctor Who's gone down with non-fans?
Well, do you know what I think's going to happen with Series 2? I think they're going to get rid of the midnight releases.
Do ya?
I just don't think
But then
they have
that
boosted
surely,
them.
but then
than
I
thought
don't think they
would.
can, because I think that's probably in with their deal and Disney.
Maybe, yeah, because then
I
otherwise
think
they'll get it
it'll
first.
possibly change if season 3 gets greenlit. I think I think Bad Wolf will come with a list of demands to Disney, being like, "This is we did well, or we can do better." And depending how well they do in Disney's eyes, depends what demands will get met. I think if Doctor Who's a really high performing show, which we just don't know, it does. To be honest, it doesn't seem like it. I've not heard a lot of things that it's now this big show internationally.
Do you mean like you were thinking of like a cultural phenomenon kind of thing where it's like
No, well, a bit,
like Stranger
but then,
Things level?
But like the thing is, like, think of the revival in 2005. Like, I know TV was completely different. After the first episode, season 2 got greenlit.
Well, I mean, series 2 was greenlit before the episode actually started. Am I right?
No, Dan.
Filmed.
That's because it was contracted that they are doing 2 seasons with Disney.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, whether they're going to renew the
is what that
3.
matters.
Right.
They
I see.
filmed season 2. That's done. Season 3 is what matters. Are we getting that season 3 with Disney?
Because to Disney, they've come to the end of their contract because series 2 is in post production.
It's filmed. It's done. It's not. It's yeah.
It's in post now. It's not.
But then I also wonder, how is there going to be reshoots and possibly rewrites of season 2 after seeing how season 1 went down?
I mean, I think there's bound to be. They'll never admit it, but surely there are details that they'll change. You know, they'll go, a lot of like when they said that Ruby was bisexual, and they have done nothing.
When did they say that?
That was in an interview. They were like, Ruby's bisexual, but they've done nothing with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few things about it.
What interview?
I'm pretty sure Russell has said in an interview, or when she was cast or something like that, she was bisexual. They've not used it.
Right.
So there's stuff like that I mean, you're bound to make changes though. I mean, there was even changes to the Christmas special like a month before we saw it. Well, a bit more than that, but there's always changes and stuff like that. I think they're always sort of trying to make the best thing that they can. I don't know if our opinions on episodes is necessarily going to make huge changes.
I don't think it's opinions on episodes. I think it's opinions on series as a whole. I think... Right, we're just going to talk about the series as a whole, and then we'll go into singular episodes. There was too much of it. So when Russell was coming back and it was going to Disney, we all were like, brilliant. Basically, start from fresh. For new fans to get into it, and then to keep the old fans. But we wouldn't care as long as we're getting good Who. But mainly, his idea was to get new fans. There has been too much reliance on the past, and if this is, let's say, Doctor Who right now is aimed for the Disney Plus audience. How are they meant to go watch Pyramids of Mars?
Yeah.
To find out who Sutek is. How do they know who Susan's granddaughter is? Some of them may not have even heard of the show Doctor Who or even known what it was about.
I agree with you a lot there, because if you take some of the if you take Space Baby, I know Church on Ruby. The Christmas special was first, but if you take Space Babies, a big point that a lot of people said about that episode was that it doesn't really have an audience. It's too childish for an older audience, and it's too complicated and too grown up for the children that they're. So it's sort of trying to work out the difference.
Yeah.
But you can say that for a lot of episodes in this series, is that I'm not entirely sure who they're aimed at. Because you can change and sort of shift what you're doing. You've got a Black Mirror episode and stuff like that.
Rogue,
yeah,
it's not that different, but it's completely different.
I mean, Doctor Who can always do that, but there's always has to be something that sort of feels like it's targeting.
Second point.
It's not targeting an audience.
That brings me on to my second point. Do you think Doctor Who should stay as a Monster of the Week format? Or does it need to go into more of a flux format where you still can have your Monsters of the Week, but you've got this overarching story and not just little, Susan Twister popped up there, I wonder what that means. Like a genuine overarching story, because TV now, especially your Disney Plus audience, is streaming. They want to binge the series. If you've got to wait for a Monster of the Week and then, because how many people watch Space Babies went, nah, this is shit, not for me. And would not even watch the rest. because
No,
the way that TV is now is you don't go, oh, that episode was a bit naff, but I'll watch the next one because that might be a bit better. If I watch a series on Netflix and go, that first episode was boring, I'm not going to watch the rest.
yeah,
And that's like a whole overarching series.
it
Imagine Doctor
did
Who.
have
You're
an
losing
overarching
so many viewers because you've got a really weak start on an
Yeah.
episode. But if you have an overarching story like Flux, your episode may be crap, but as long as the questions are there, like what is this, what's happening, you will still get your episode 2 watchers because they want to know in general. Do you know what I mean?
I think it works both
I think
ways though.
Doctor
because
Who, in modern era,
yeah,
needs to stop Monster of the Week stories and go to like Flux. I the way Chibnall did it wasn't great, but Chibnall knew how to save Doctor Who with the Flux. But
I
he
think
didn't pull it off.
it's a bit of both, right? Because I really like the weekly stuff, but with the
That's
weekly
nostalgia.
stuff,
That's nostalgia. Think of a new viewer.
no, but you've got an arc. You've got about like the questions about Ruby's parentage and stuff like that. So you haven't got simple episode of the week.
Sorry.
But you've got like some episodes. I think like those 2 Doctor Light episodes. I think were really. I was gonna say a bad idea, but I don't think they did them out of choice.
Which is saying something.
They did them because they had to, but it felt like we had 2 episodes where basically just sort of the Doctor takes a break. Like they're not Doctor Who, and I think a lot of people would get to that middle point and kind of go, "This is not what I started with. What am I watching now?" And
But
clear off.
73 Yards was the highest reviewed episode.
So it's like a bit of both.
Would you be happy if it went to a Flux standard where it was a whole overarching? Because you still did get your Monster Week, you still had your Sontar, and you still had your Weekly Angels.
Yeah. Because that's kind of the point I'm making with you still getting Ruby's parentage. You're still getting that element, but if you just played heavier, played heavier into that, you'd essentially have that Flux thing, that Flux idea, wouldn't you? And I quite like the idea of there being like, I always love things that connect and stuff like that. And if we're getting that with individual bits of our stories, then I'd be pretty happy. Like if you get a Sontaran episode and then like a Dalek episode, etc.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on payoffs?
I feel like
Ruby's mother.
Are we gonna not save this for the later? But if we're gonna go into it now, if we're doing overall now,
I know. I think this is a Russell thing in general. This is current. Like think of also, it even happened with David Tennant. This whole thing was, why did this face come back? Why did this face come back? Why did this face come back? Well, because he wants a break. Like, you're bigging up this massive thing and then just a massive letdown. That's not a letdown because we've theorised. You have written.
Yeah.
Well, the TARDIS can't find out. This can't find out. This can't find out. It's a normal woman. Or, I just wanted a break.
Now, I was really, really disappointed with the normal woman thing. Now, I was having a really good time in that finale, and even that sat badly.
Okay, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that.
Like, obviously, like you say, you're playing up that idea and you don't deliver on it, and it kind of ruins the trust that the Mrs. Flood stuff's going to deliver, and that in the future we can trust Doctor Who to give us a good story.
She clearly is something.
Yeah, but we thought Ruby's mum was something, and she wasn't. So, what does that mean? Is that it feels like we don't have the trust that Mrs. Flood might just be another kind of like, oh, actually, it was this thing, and but it wasn't even a thing.
It's Russell. It's like, oh well, it's Doctor Who and it's brilliant. Everything in Doctor Who is just brilliant. Russell, you need to take a step back and realise that you can't big up something that has us thinking, but it doesn't get us thinking because, oh, we saw a little thing in the distance. You have written in your episode, this woman is basically so important that Sutek has come back to and can't control because of this random woman's mother.
Yeah, he can't fully sort of win because of the mother. You can't just go,
she was just normal. You can't.
But there's like people have pointed out the little details. This is what worries me about rewatching Series 1, is that when I watch it again with like fresh eyes, knowing the full story, I'm going to be watching it going, so it's snowing in like Space Babies. It's snowing. Why is it snowing?
Yes,
No,
the
no
snowing.
reason.
What's
Just
about
no
the
reason.
snowing?
There's nothing to back it up now.
Sorry, I thought I just peaked there with my audio.
Why is
so
she
have fun with
hidden?
that.
Why is the mother hidden during the hologram thing in
And
episode
why
7?
is she pointing to a lamppost? Like,
also, if the Doctor's there, why is she pointing to a lamppost? And if the Doctor says in Space Babies that his memory of that time keeps changing, so something changed his memory from when she walks away in Church on Ruby Road to this episode in the series 1 when she turns and points. So something changed the memory. So there has to be a reason. It can't just be that she's a woman.
and she had the trickster's theme inside of her from the whole Devil's Chord, man.
That's just Murray Gold putting in little jokes because he loves
Do you
doing
think
that.
that's Murray Gold being lazy?
I don't think he's being lazy. I think it's
But then Trickster's mentioned later on.
Yeah,
So
it's trying to like. There was that strategy that I heard where if you're trying to make something new, use stuff from, use older stuff and sort of make it build upon it. Like a lot of the themes have like been used again. So I think they used like the long song in episode.
They did,
5 in Dot and Bubble. They used long song. I'm pretty sure at the end.
Yes, because it was to show aliens getting along, and then yeah.
And then Never Tell Me the Rules. You know, the 11th Doctor thing is used in the finale. So those ones, they're there, but they're just different enough where the casual viewer might not notice, but just appreciate the theme. You know, there might be something nostalgic in it for them, I think. I don't think it's him being lazy. I think it's him trying to be very clever with how he uses the music.
Okay. Shall we get on to the episodes?
Yes, I don't think we've got anything else to say
Did we talk about Ruby Road?
No,
Okay.
we didn't. No, we did not do a Christmas special on Ruby Road.
Right,
I watched it
we're
with
not
Han,
going to talk
but
about
I
it
did
in
not
full.
do a
Just
Christmas special.
give us your rating out of 10
for Ruby Road.
Yep.
I know you're probably going to disagree with me, but I'm going to go with a solid 8.
Fuck off.
Do you know, I tell you for why. I think that actually I've just remembered the Goblin song. Give me a sec.
Fucking 8.
6.5, 7, probably. So
Yeah, okay.
depending, I'd have to watch it again, but 6.5, 7 is where I would place it. You know, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, part of me watches the episode and thinks, this is really silly. This is too much. And I'm not I really love Ncuti and Millie, and they basically carry the thing. So if they weren't in it, I don't think I would like the episode as much. But just Ncuti like going, "What are you doing?" You know, climbing up a ladder in the sky, and you thought, "I'll just hop on."
He
and
hot
stuff like
fuzzes an alien. The goblin, I mean.
He what?
Okay. He hot fuzzes.
Because it goes through his Yeah. Very good, thank you. Sorry, that's my favourite film. Took me a minute to get the reference.
What's your favourite? That's so generic.
I've got
I'm giving
others.
it a 4.5.
4.5, right. Any reason behind that? Like, what's your biggest dislike?
The
Goblins.
The Goblins did nothing.
Right, you just weren't satisfied.
No, I wasn't satisfied. Like the Goblins weren't even a villain. They just had a song, and they kidnapped a baby. But what are they doing with it? What, they're going to eat a baby? Show us actual consequences of the Goblins. Anyway, 4.5.
It was too sort of. Why can't I think of a better word than happy slappy?
Generic, basic, easy.
It was too safe. It was too. It
Safe.
had nothing to say to you.
I am very looking forward to Stephen Moffat's Christmas special, though. Don't let me down, Stevie.
But before Stephen Moffat does his Christmas special, we need to talk about Series 1. So, Will.
Oh, God, it's this episode. I hate
Do you want me to go first for Space Babies?
Go on, because you're probably going to give it a 9.
I haven't put numbers to them.
Okay.
But so my notes were, I sort of low-key quite like this episode, but the bogeyman is silly. The fart joke
just dropped when you said that.
The bogeyman thing is super silly. The fact with the stupid farting ship at the end just ruins the thing for me. And once again, Millie and Ncuti carry the episode entirely. Without them and without the cute babies,
Coot!
The faces and the way they're
Did you
interacting
see
with
that
them.
absolute creature talking with its CGI? Eric, did you see his stupid face?
Eric's the worst one. Poppy has like her
Poppy's quite bad
facial.
as well.
In what sense?
CGI babies. What do you mean? In what sense?
I thought that for the most part, the fact that they've just taken the mouth and used that is quite clever. I quite appreciate that.
Right.
I
Okay,
don't know how
I'll
it
talk
could be
about-
better. There's nothing too uncanny valley about it for me.
You don't know how Space Babies could be better.
No, I knew how it could be better. Trust me, you could stop your ship farting. That'd be great. But I thought it was really silly, really silly. Not the best start to a series, but
A lot of people would not carry on watching after that if that was their first episode.
but anyway, over to you.
Okay, we'll do the ratings at the end. I really enjoyed the first 15 minutes before we actually saw the babies. I don't understand why the Doctor tried to sacrifice himself for a bunch of bogies. Like, it's the last of its kind. It's not a kind. It's not a creature. It's been made up. It's not a species. What's he trying to... Whatever.
Yeah.
The bogey monster, it looked scary, wasn't actually scary. It just looked scary. There was no actual threat to it. If it had killed that child, well, we thought it killed the child. Oh my god!
I would argue that
it
the bogey
didn't.
monster thing wasn't actually scary at all, and the way it's edited and cut suggests that they're trying to hide the fact it's just a guy in a suit.
Well, obviously, most Doctor Who monsters are a guy in a suit.
No, but like
the bogey monster itself,
the quick cuts
doesn't
and stuff like
actually
that.
do anything scary.
They're trying to make it scarier by cutting, basically.
Yeah, they're trying to. All the design's scary, so it's a scary monster. No, it's not. No. The monster needs to actually be scary.
That thing walking around, I don't think that's scary.
And then the whole snot thing. It's the worst thing I could think of. I could think of a lot of things worse to be covered in than snot.
I agree. It's
Doctor, you've been in the belly of a beast, man. Like, come on, that's a lot worse.
the way that they were playing that, like, I've seen such awful things, and this is the worst. No.
I thought there's no way she's covered in space cum in Doctor Who. Because, babies, it made sense.
It did. It kind of did.
It makes sense. Lily Gibson was covered in space cum, but it wasn't. It was bogies.
I'm clipping that for a TikTok.
Oh, God.
And your mum can see that.
Hi, Rachel. Really enjoyed the first 15 minutes. The babies just let it down. I like Nanny. Nanny was good.
I thought she was kind of phoning it in a bit.
Hold on, no, there was one bit at the end where she just randomly cried. I was like, why do you care? Why are you crying? Because oh my god, I'm so silly. How did I not realise? What do you mean? It's made of bogies. It's not a person.
Yeah,
that's it as well. They were trying to make it seem like the bogeyman was a thing. It's not a thing. It's made of bogies.
Well, they did try and make it out like it was one of her like children on the ship, but it was made.
Bogies, Dan.
Yeah, but it's not. You could just say, and then they call it their pet.
Yep.
As well,
bogies.
So it kind of it doesn't track.
Right.
Bogies.
What are you giving out of 10?
Oh, hang on. I did it. So hang on 1 sec. So are we doing a ranking that is like 1 to 8? 8's worst, 1's better.
No, we're doing out of 10s. Come on.
You're doing it out of 10. Right.
Yes.
I need to add out of 10 to all of my episodes as we go. Then.
No, just think it in your head, man.
I know. 4 out of 10.
Right.
I'm going with the 4 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Cool. Right. Next
3,
episode.
3 out of 10. Do you know what? I think we're pretty much in agreement there, but I just enjoyed it a bit more.
I think I'm just a bit more of a negative person, and I'll come to why at the end. Devil's Cord.
Right, you
I'll
go
start.
first for Devil's Cord while I'm writing this.
Really, really, really enjoyed the episode. I really love the silent bit. It's a lot of people have a thing against it. Me, I really enjoyed it. Jinx Monsoon was fantastic. The Doctor's arse was fantastic. The Beatles, they don't bother me. They weren't really in it, but that's fine.
No.
The only thing I didn't like was the final fight at the end, because you can't do a fight out of music, out of CGI music notes. I really enjoyed it when the Doctor got trapped, when Ruby and the Doctor got trapped in instruments. That was very good, very clever. However, what the fuck was that music at the end? And why are you singing? There was a twist at the end when there wasn't even a fucking twist. If that song or anything, actually, if they sang a song that actually had something to do with the episode, fairs. But you've just sung a song and there's always a twist at the end, and there wasn't a twist.
No, I agree. The musical at the end.
After they just started singing Imagine all the people. Get Gal Gadot to come on.
No, I agree. The Devil's Chord is good, I think, until like the final few minutes.
Final 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Like I think
the fight. Is the fight at the end?
So I don't mind the fight. It's a bit
but
like I don't think it's that bad.
It's not interesting to watch.
Doctor
just
Strange
like a
did
game
it.
of catch is not interesting to watch.
No,
I'm not over that. The giggle.
Okay. No, I didn't think it was that bad.
It's not interesting to watch.
I did think it was a bit silly. Like the piano flies out the room and just so it happens two Beatles just casually hanging around.
Yeah, but it was just like it's not interesting. Like it's the fight scene at the end. Like if you want to have a cool epic moment, you can't. I feel like Doctor Who, you can't have a cool epic moment unless it's a Doctor Who speech, like killing the like. That's your epic moment. You can't have an action moment in Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think the trouble is with that ending, or just with that final fight, is that it's all built around like Jin's Monsoon's, the Maestro's character, and them being evil. But then there's no like emotional thing to rise up to them. So like the Beatles is probably the best that they have, but because we don't actually spend any time with those characters really. There's like some comments and you kind of get where they're coming from, but there's nothing there. So that when they defeat Maestro, it doesn't feel like it has a sense of relief, a sense of like we've got a full sort of nice story wrapped up in a bow.
Yeah. It's a good story. It's just the last 10 minutes knocks it down a bit for me.
I in my notes for it, I've got that I have a lot of very tiny gripes about the episode, right? But the biggest issue I have, if I started talking about these gripes, we'd be here for ages and they're so tiny, it just wouldn't be worth it. The thing I wrote was that it's just too short for the concept. Like, this idea feels huge, and
this is what I mean about an overarching series.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
I
could
mean,
have
it
one
wouldn't make a
baddie.
series, but it could make like an hour
The
episode.
Pantheons, you could have 2 or 3 Pantheons as your entire series baddies.
And they just fight the Pantheons. The Pantheon of Discourse, or whatever they're called.
What they may be doing in series 2, because we've seen some Harbinger stuff.
I think they're doing more of those episodes, yes. I don't know if that's what they're doing all series, but...
No, I'm not saying they're doing, but I think we're having more Pantheons. Maybe the tricks...
I doubt it.
Out of 10.
Devil's Chord has been the same since the episode aired, and a 6 out of 10.
Ooh. I'm a 7.
Ooh, that's surprising.
Ooh.
I've
the gay in me loved the drag queen.
I've simply knocked it down just because it's a really good story with a really strong villain, but it just feels so condensed. It's like suffocating. And
the silent moment though.
No, obviously
that's brilliant.
That is a brilliant. Yeah, that's a good moment. So there's lots of good stuff, but I just put it as 6, maybe a 7, at a push, like you say, but a 6 I thought was a good basis. Are we going on to Boom? Boom. I think this is going to be pretty good for both of us. I think this is the only episode we had a proper conversation about it.
But I'm going to say something.
What's that?
Forgettable. But
fair enough.
Not bad. It is forgettable.
I've put great acting, great writing, keeps you interested and very suspenseful. Although the fact that it is all in one set and it's these characters talking does, like you say, make it forgettable. Makes I think that it works so much better than I think.
Can I just say one thing about Ncuti's performance
in this episode? Yeah.
No, just in general.
Uh-huh.
Stop crying.
I thought you were going to mention that.
Please stop crying.
To be fair, he does not need to cry in this episode.
I mean, he does. This one's fair. Like
his performance shows that he's scared. He doesn't need to cry.
You went so brummy just then. It was so funny.
I'm not even from Birmingham.
Doesn't need to cry.
Doesn't need to cry.
No, but stop crying. Stop crying. Because the moment where you actually need to cry isn't going to be as strong.
I've seen that a few times as an argument now. Is that Ncuti cries too much?
Stop crying. Ncuti, if you for some reason you're watching this, love you. Stop crying. Next.
So, anything else you want to say about Boom?
Forgettable, but fantastic.
It's just.
Actually.
Go on.
The whole religion, faith, and all that. That was a bit of a tricky situation when that first aired, wasn't it? People weren't too happy about that.
Well, no. What's good about it is that it doesn't sort of go directly to a religion in particular. It's just a made-up one. Are they Catholics actually? I'm pretty sure
remember.
They're essentially Catholics or Christians, or something like that.
Yeah, but then it's like, what makes you keep fighting? Faith, gal. But then also at the end,
never do that
a really
again.
Good thing. People don't fight over faith. Faith is what. Do you know what I mean? It's.
People do fight over faith.
No. Over that's religion, not faith. There's a difference in being religious and being faithful.
No, the faith. With that faith line, he was directing it at Ruby, saying that she's following something without knowing what she's going into and without knowing what's really out there. And I love the idea that they're blindly following their faith to find out that there's nothing there. They're fighting nothing. They're fighting an algorithm.
I personally would have just enjoyed it a lot more if it was just capitalism bad. Because the way that it was...
Really?
No,
Another episode that's capitalism bad.
What?
Moffat loved capitalism bad episodes. Oxygen.
Yeah, he does. Oh, that is a capitalism bad.
That is a capitalism bad.
Literally, you're fighting nothing because you're making money for the big corporations. I think
that
would have been so much better
too,
without it being the... And also you're doing this because of your religion. I feel like you don't need to throw in that... It is, they're fighting it because of their religion. You don't need to throw that in. I think, yeah.
No, I mean, it
works. I think we both need to rewatch it. But I remember there being some discourse on Twitter when it first came out.
I don't mind the religion thing. But
that's because you're not religious. Think if you were religious.
If you were, then yeah, you suggest.
And then you're being like, you're basically saying I'm fighting because of my religion. No, do you know what I mean?
You've essentially had a doctor stand there and say
religion bad.
Religion bad. Don't believe
which isn't great.
No. But I think it was interesting for the doctor sort of to take that stance on it and almost be doing it out of desperation by he needs to make Monday listen to him, and by doing so he ends up sort of deconstructing her faith to make him himself her next sort of point of call. And that's an interesting thing for the doctor to do.
Let's do out of 10.
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
9.
8. Ooh.
I've gone with 9. I'm not to point off because I think there's that element of how rewatchable is it. If I keep watching it, I'm going to get bored. Because it's not that the story doesn't go anywhere, it's that there are some beautiful lines here, beautiful speeches and stuff like that.
Oh my god, there were some absolutely gorgeous lines.
I just think it requires you to sit and to watch it, and if you're not watching it, then I can't call it perfect. Basically, there are too many slight things that there's slightly too many things that I don't think flows perfectly to give it a 10. But 10 to me is the highest it could possibly be.
10 to you is Stolen Earth.
Yeah. I'd say there's very few episodes of Doctor Who that actually reach 10.
There's very few, which is a 10. Next, 73 yards.
73 yards. Shall I go first on this one?
You go. You go for it. I did boom.
Okay, so I thought that 73 Yards was a really, really great Doctor-like episode if we had to have one. I'm not sure that the lack of clarity of what's going on helps, though. I think it actually hinders the episode. Sure, you can say it's all about this folklore stuff, but...
But then it's not really about, sorry.
You need details, don't you? You need elements like that. I think
it would have worked so much better if it actually was just about a folklore, and then it becomes this whole political thing, which... Yeah. Just keep it as your folklore. Like, that was your strong point, your folklore. You then trying to shoe cram. That's not the word.
Shoe cram? Cramming?
What's the word? Shoe something.
Shoe horn, no.
That word.
Shoeing? I don't know. It slipped my mind. But I know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Political aspect.
Yeah.
Because RTD doesn't like UKIP. And I'm not saying he's bad for that. Good.
No.
But it's not needed.
No, I also agree with you that the political stuff just sort of comes in at the end. And, I mean, this is sort of what I meant by the whole, like, you need to know the rules. And when the episode drops in this political stuff and then doesn't fully explain what's going on, then there's a character that they even sort of allude to them, sort of this Roger Liam character being abusive to, but then just not actually directly stating it.
Well, it was just a bit pointless. It was just show that this guy's a bad guy. Like we know like
you can infer that is probably what they were trying to do, but it just feels like there's so many elements trying to reach into this episode again that they would have been better off to stick with one. But I love the political stuff by itself. I would defend quite a lot of this episode in the fact that I love what it's trying to do. Like, I love that we've got a story taking place across Ruby's life, and it's almost like her penance for, well, she had nothing to do with it, but it's the penance
it's so funny about her trying to look 40 where she literally looks 22.
Yeah, that's the makeup needs a bit of work. And then when she's supposed to look...
And I quite like how it was all filmed in Cardiff just a week before. Just a week before I went there, so I could go to other filming locations and make Dan really, really jealous.
No. They didn't film. No, it released on the same week, didn't it? And I sent you. I sent you the. It was the Botanist or whatever it was.
Alchemist.
Where she's got the Alchemist.
Yeah,
where she's got that scene when she's in the restaurant.
I went there. And also, I saw her block of towers that she lived in because that was knit around the corner from my hotel. And our hotel was used for filming for Voyage of the Damned. There you go.
Which bits?
The Titanic.
The big set. Just
So like the dining hall at the start.
Yeah.
It's that. Yeah.
So what's that room used for in their actual hotel?
A big dining room.
A bit. Yeah. I probably should have guessed that.
Like wedding shit.
Wedding shit.
I sent you a picture.
Yes, you did.
You walked in it, and it looked like you were in the Titanic.
Anyway, can we get back to the episode before I start crying?
Sorry, I was bragging that I went to Cardiff.
So, I would defend a lot of what that episode did, and sort of having plenty of ideas like that I really enjoyed. But again, it feels like it's too much compact in, squeezed in like sardines, and it's suffocating. Once again, your opinions on it?
No. Political aspect was not needed. It was done well. I'm not saying it was done wrong, but it was not needed. It was too much for one episode.
Yeah, and the fact, like, we go back to the thing about the rules.
And also, I'm sorry, she would have been shot before she managed to get to that 73 yards. There's no way that she is
still going,
still walking on the pitch. She's getting 360 no scoped.
Hang on, there's so many questions. This is the issue with 73 yards. I love it for the fact that it makes us ask questions and sort of leaves us to make up our own mind. But at the same time,
I do really enjoy how it's all questions. I love it, like, oh, what's this? But on reflection, I like how we don't actually know. Bit like the Midnight Creatures.
Like, there's some stuff I like, like, there's some stuff I would like to know why. Like, why is Ruby sort of led to go to this politician? You know,
because the Doctor mentions him
yeah, but
that he's the
you know,
worst.
why does the lady that's also Ruby turn
because
him and speak to him?
Mad Jack. He got nicknamed Mad Jack, and the person in the pub at the very start went, "Oh, it's because of Mad Jack," even though they were taking the piss. So I don't understand that, but you know,
that's what I mean. So there's lots of
but
like
I think it's because of
little
Mad Jack.
things about it. So yeah, because they were joking, but then that ended up actually happening.
Wait, no, because is it the people in the pub say Mad Jack, or on the note does it say Mad Jack?
The pub, they're in the pub and they say you've released Mad Jack or something like that.
Okay, fair enough.
So
I thought Gwen Cooper was coming back in that episode
because it's Wales.
No, because there's in the next time trailer, it doesn't show a person, but it's like a proper Welsh. What the hell have you done? That sounded exactly like Gwen Cooper, but it's just because it was Welsh.
Just because it was Welsh.
Do you remember people thought Amy Pond was coming back because of something as well?
Though there was definitely a voice in one of the trailers that was
sounded just
Yaz.
like Amy Pond.
It was Yaz. There was definitely a voice when someone says in the American Disney Plus trailer when they keep saying Doctor. One of the doctors was Yaz that they'd reused.
Oh.
And everyone was going, "Well, she's in it. She's in it. She has to be in it. They wouldn't use it in the trailer if she wasn't in it." No, they were just being lazy. We ran out of doctors.
Next was.
So,
oh wait,
what's your number? Yeah, what's your number?
8.5.
I've gone with the 7.
Oh.
To be honest, I thought there'd be bigger gaps between what we're saying. Like our numbers.
There will be later on.
There will be later on, yes, good point. Oh, look, what's next?
Dot and Bubble.
Dot and Bubble.
I really liked Dot and Bubble. I really liked Dot and Bubble.
Okay, no.
I really liked Dot and Bubble.
I'll say what I thought, then,
Lindy
shall
Pepper Bean. Forgettable. I'm going to be honest, a lot of the season is forgettable. You have to actually think about it.
I quite liked the main character sort of subversion of, she'll learn, like, we know what the plot is going to be, is that she'll discover that she doesn't need all this technology and stuff like that, and she'll be a really nice person, and she'll leave, and she'll be all happy. Mm-hmm. But the fact... So I love the subversion of her killing, or effectively allowing the death of Ricky September to get away, and then to choose to not be saved.
What was Ricky September's song?
It's a song from the 80s or 80s or 90s.
What is
it's
it?
called Itsy Bitsy.
Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. That's the way she wore the first time today.
Have you listened to the full song of that?
No, of course not.
That's the best bit. That is the best bit.
I can imagine.
That 2 lines. Yeah, so it's a weird choice. But so I loved the subversion, but I don't find that the issue is you spend that 45 minutes in the company of a person that is uncompelling and is incredibly dislikable.
But no. They only become dislikable towards the very end. At the start...
Oh, no, she was, like, rude and awful from the very beginning.
Yeah, but that's just modern white people.
That's just how people chat to each other.
That's just how popular girls are. But you still do want her to escape. Right?
I hate that cliche. It's like the word I hate in media. One thing I hate is like the Gen Z or Gen X like people that are sitting there on their screens and like I can't get away from my phone and stuff like that. I hate that.
But anyway, no, like at the start you do want Lindy Pepperbean to escape. You're like, oh, it's fairs, and I've still not rewatched it, but it's because of it's for me it's the big when she kills Ricky September, that is like, oh shit, she bad. I don't realise she bad until that. So no, she's not dislikable. She only comes dislikable at the end, and then then the director or whatever it is knows that we know she bad, so paints her in a lot worse light.
I think it was just that maybe we're used to characters in our Doctor Light episodes to be
Well,
that
the
sort
whole
of
point
hero
of Ricky
archetype.
September was a Doctor, like the Doctor-like character for us to
Yeah, it was
clever man that knows stuff, which is fair. I liked him. He was good.
It's playing into that whole idea that there's a hero and that it's like a white savior comes in and picks them up and takes them home, damsel in distress and all that. So for that, I really, really enjoyed it. I do think at the end...
Go on, the end.
I mean, I like it, and it's nicely set up in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is like the best time to put it in, though, because this episode is about like that subversion, and I guess it's another subversion on top of it, but it just feels like they drop that in, and it's this big thing, and it feels like it's going to have consequences, and then we go into Rogue and nothing's happening. It just feels like a thing that they did that means nothing.
What do you mean?
Because at the end of that episode, he's walking to the TARDIS, and you're like, oh, he is, really upset. Like, what are the consequences to the Doctor, feeling this and feeling that emotion? I'm sure that's going to come up later because that's such a big thing.
Seriously, you thought, oh, he's just been proper racially profiled. I wonder if he's going to go on a big killing arc now in his
No.
He's just going to go,
killing
what
arc.
the fuck? Go back in the TARDIS and go, well, that was a bit shitty, and go and have a laugh.
I just wanted to know what was going to happen.
But but it happens. Like, that's the point. Like, it happens, and they don't make it a big thing for the Doctor. It's just like the Doctor doesn't actually care that he's been racially profiled. The Doctor cares that he can't save them. He even says, "I don't care. I just want to save you."
Yeah.
So the whole
changed my mind slightly,
and that being Ncuti's very first scene, I'm happy he can cry there. That's all I'm saying.
No, all that emotion needs to be in that scene, definitely. So, Will, I've given this story a 5 out of 10. I went straight through the middle. It's far too Black Mirror for my opinion, but I went with a 5. I would say that maybe you'd push it up to a 6, but...
Yeah,
yourself?
You know mine?
Yeah.
It's a 7.5.
Oh.
Really enjoy Ricky September. Oh, actually, no. One thing. They were killing them based off alphabetical order, and nobody could work that out.
No,
come on now.
They're all staring at their phone screens.
The Doctor couldn't work it out.
Not at the start.
It took Ruby going, "What's your name? Oh my God, your name." Anyway, next episode. Oh God.
Do you want to go first? You've been sort of talking about this one quite a lot during this.
I wasn't a massive fan of Rogue.
No.
I didn't like the writing. It was very much Marvel writing. Joke. Some jokes were good. Some jokes just missed. And also, we're going to cosplay the universe to death. What? And they're not cosplaying. They're like pretending. Like, stop. It's not cosplay.
Shapeshift.
They're shapeshifters. You're not cosplayers. Whatever. Romance was good. Didn't like how the Doctor was. Not gay. The Doctor's fine being gay.
No, yeah.
I didn't like his whole... It just felt... He felt schoolboy. And not a billion-year-old man.
Yeah. I'd argue that there's just too much flirting. And when Millie is left in this house and he knows she's in danger, there's no element of him going, oh, where's Ruby? Is Ruby safe? It's him still flirting with Jonathan Groff's character.
And for the Doctor to be Jonathan Groff, what? But
for the Doctor to be so explicitly flirty, to be so like to be like what's the word? To be leading the flirting, I think was a weird step, especially when you're, like you say, we were talking earlier about the audience, where this is a kid's show and there's just tons of the main character flirting.
I like it, but the Doctor didn't feel like the Doctor.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
A bit of fun. Like, a bit of fun was fine. Like, obviously, when the 10th Doctor comes back from the party in Girl in the Fireplace.
Yep.
That's good. That's fine. But then he still has a Doctor moment. Well, the only Doctor moment we really had was when he spoke to the Shoulders.
Yeah.
At the end? Was that what they're called?
Yeah, yeah.
At the end, when they're in the whole triangle. Also, I have got to talk about one thing. Really like the Shoulders design. However, what the fuck was that Muppet-looking bluebird that was following with a long moustache? Awful. That was the worst one there was.
Oh, like some of them definitely had more money spent than others.
I think it would have been a lot better if they all looked like the main one, the eagle.
That they were more to that element, because one looks like.
Why the fuck?
Do you remember those things?
There's literally a Muppet, like a blue,
like a pom pom.
Blue with just a long tash. That's not a bird. I've never seen a bird blue. Don't say like bluebird.
Like a bluebird or a blue tit, but like you look like a pom pom.
Yeah, awful. You should have them looking like eagles and owls. That was good. I liked them. The bluebird, awful. Ruby has been the saving grace of this series.
Yeah.
I am not fully set on Ncuti yet.
Ooh.
But Ruby has been very good. Millie Gibson smashed it.
I think it's a lot easier to play a companion, isn't it, in many respects, because you're kind of a bit more
because of Ryan Sinclair.
Oh, very good point.
Mm.
Yeah, very good point. Mm. Yes, exactly. But if you getting the personality across.
Why are we going over there? Doctor,
what we're doing, Doctor?
Doctor, I'm gonna do a basketball, Doctor. I've got dyspraxia, Doctor. I don't know why he's going Manor. He's not from Manor. He's from my ends.
What's that voice?
Manor.
It's just going.
It's from Manchester.
Please stop before we get a complaint.
Sorry, if there's any manx out there.
As we were talking about the relationship between the Doctor and with Rogue, the thing that sort of unsettles me a little bit.
Oh Christ!
Is that I don't think that the relationship stands up, so that when they split up at the end, I don't think that the Doctor it's like the Doctor's had like a 6-month relationship with them, and he's like crying that he's made this sacrifice and all this sort of stuff.
I'll give you that.
I
will give you that.
It goes back to that, and I don't think that worked particularly well. And I say there's the thing with the cosplaying, which I also wrote about being like really silly, and what they were doing, just their general plan was very silly. And finally, I expected a lot more.
They never mentioned a wedding until if their whole thing was, I need to get married to this person. Then they mentioned the royal family. So if it was like, we need to marry into the royal family to do something, and then if let's say the Doctor Psychic Paper said they were part of the royal family,
yeah, but then they're actually marrying each other.
Yeah. Why mention the royal family?
So he's technically marrying his sister.
Sweet home Alabama.
Like, why? But then you can't sort of rise up if you're just marrying.
Yeah.
So really, it needed somebody of higher status at the party that they were trying to
royal family,
get into.
And I think the Doctor's Psychic Paper said we're royals.
Yeah, then they think that they were higher.
Or a high up, like Earl of, I don't know, Yappa or whatever.
It would make sense that they were at that party in order to try and network themselves up the pecking order.
And eventually take
the
over.
Pecking order, because they've got beaks.
Because they've got beaks. That's brilliant. Out of 10.
I put a 5.
I think I'm going to say 5. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I went with 5 because there's a lot of stuff I like, but there's a lot of stuff I don't. Right in the middle.
Is it
5.
skip on your rewatch?
Still a bit on the fence. No, because I watched this a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Poor Lauren was sitting there doing Sudoku. I was doing my taxes, and I put Rogue on, and I watched it, and I thought, you know what? It's not too bad, but there's just so many issues.
How, Dan? Tell me your ways.
Yeah, it was just a shame that like the biggest episode or one of the biggest episodes of the series was a bit of a letdown. So we come on to the finale, Will, with The Legend of Ruby Sunday. Do you want to go first?
Very, very good.
Very good. Amazingly
Legend of Ruby
tense,
Sunday is the best
fast-paced.
episode of the series.
Incredible cliffhanger.
Yep.
Now, my
One
issue...
thing,
Now, if I can play
not
devil's
an anagram,
advocate...
but we move. It's not an anagram.
It's not.
It's
No,
not an anagram.
if you put the letters together and change a
Then
letter,
change the letter and
it's
think
no
about
longer
it.
an anagram.
Yeah, not an anagram.
But anyway, it's more of the sound. Like when they're chanting at one stage, it's Su Tech, Su Tech. See, it's the vowels and stuff like that.
I'm not a whole fan of. It could be your granddaughter. No. Just
I
be like,
I like
there's
that though.
woman that we know. Like, why is she here? You don't need the whole. It could be my granddaughter. The whole thing of Sutek's trap to lure the Doctor in could just be, you can't say no to a mystery.
I think. Do you think that those were as a response to? We're trying to make a big web of lies to keep our true story secret.
No.
So by foreshadowing like Susan in the previous episodes to then commit to this episode when part of you may think that, oh, so what the Doctor's doing is he's reuniting with his granddaughter. That's sort of like been the point of the series.
No.
For then that to be different.
I just think the whole thing could have been, look, the Doctor, here's the woman, and like Sutek knows. Sutek has been clinging on to the TARDIS, whatever shit that is, for God knows how long. He knows the Doctor can't say no to a mystery. So just having this woman appear is enough for the Doctor to be interested by it.
It worked. No, it did work. It was more that the Doctor thought that Susan Triad was Susan.
No, we didn't. Ruby brought it up. The worst character of the series.
Should we talk about Rose Noble really quickly?
I'm sorry,
That'll do it. Yeah, that was great. That.
But she's a bit pointless.
That's just about all the lines she had during the finale.
The
Zero.
finale. She woke up and went.
If I can play devil's advocate for a second, the issue that I have with this episode is that it's all about the cliffhanger.
Which is fantastic.
And no, it may be, but when I rewatch it, I am just sort of sitting waiting for the cliffhanger because I know it's not Susan, and I know who it is, and there's not a lot of character moments or story that is then relevant to the next episode. You know, there's the bit when the Doctor says about how he's concerned he's going to ruin Susan.
My glasses, you can see down there. Ooh. Sorry.
You know, there's the thing with there that he's going to ruin Susan, and then they don't really use that.
He wants to ruin Susan? Dirty boy. Sorry, I'm a child.
You know what you know what I meant. You know what I meant.
I'm a child. I'm sorry.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? That there's it's all heading towards a cliffhanger and to that pinpoint, and an episode like that means that there's not. You know that sort of there's parts of that story that really drag because it's all going towards the cliffhanger. That it may be fast paced, but it's got dull moments. Just because I'm talking does not mean you can just play around with your lights. You're trying to distract everyone. Anything else to say, Will, about Legend of Ruby Sunday? Anything else to say about Legend of Ruby Sunday?
No. Out of 10, 9. Right. The finale.
8 for me. It's an 8.
Biggest fumble in Doctor Who history.
All I've written for this episode is your epic season finale until you realise the series arc was just our imagination and a lady pointing at a sign.
Bang on! Bang on!
I think I summed it up.
Fucking woman with spoon. What?
Yeah, that's a weird scene.
But it was not needed.
No.
Really liked Mel's transformation.
into joining
and how the
Sutek.
Doctor knew that she turned. But the whole Sutek was so mishandled, man. So mishandled.
I've seen that argument a lot. I don't think there's an element of mishandling.
He was. There was no threat to Sutek. He dusted everyone.
Yeah, he dusted everyone.
Like, well,
then they didn't know what to do with him.
They clearly have to do a big rewind, and it's all okay. So Sutek has no threat.
I was quite disappointed when everyone got dusted in episode 8, because as they're all standing there, and there's this big scene, and I thought this should be huge, and I just know it's a big red button, and they're going to reset everything. Like, I just know what this episode's going to do now. Don't get me wrong, I probably enjoyed this episode more than most people did, but that moment I did visibly kind of go, oh, right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, Sutek, there was no threat to him whatsoever. The RTD has written some fantastic big villains, but then fumbles so big with Sutek. The Doctor never actually saw Sutek, apart from twice.
Sutek is hinged in the past, where it requires that sort of almost nostalgia of knowing Sutek in order for Sutek to work.
Which also doesn't work for your new viewers, which is what they wanted.
I mean, even in Pyramids of Mars, I can't say that Sutek does a lot. But
no,
it's
I did
mostly
watch
his
Pyramids of
followers.
Mars, and I was just like, but no, he's done better. Yeah, Sutek, man, and then they tie him and take him in the time vortex.
Yeah, they do. They take the dog for a walk, which is really funny.
And also, sorry, I can't get over Ncuti's hands. He's so small.
What is it? What? His hands on the top of the TARDIS like that?
Yeah, when he's holding onto the TARDIS, he's so small. He's so tiny.
Just because it's you and you could balance your head on the top of the TARDIS. You wouldn't need to put your hands out. It's just your head and your feet.
I just use my forehead to balance against. Listen here, Sutek. This is what you made of me. I like the whole Doctor being like, I bring life, or whatever it is. But then you made me this, Sutek. What? No, you didn't really.
It's like in that scene there was a completely different arc for the Doctor.
Yeah,
and then it's just spiel, like it's just words, and then those words are just flying out of Ncuti's mouth with such passion, but they don't resonate because 2 episodes before in Rogue, he was gonna kill those birds. He was very happy to send those birds to an eternity of their lifespan of hell and torture
years.
and suffering. And then he's like, Sutek, you made me into this.
You made me want to kill you. No, Doctor, that's what you've always wanted to do. Speaking of Dr. Ncuti, do you feel like he's actually had his Doctor moment yet?
Do you know what I do?
When?
I think Boom. Plenty of scenes in Boom.
Has he had his
bit when
Doctor moment though?
She's holding the gun to him and he has that speech. I'm a much bigger bang than you bargained for, and all that sort of stuff. I thought was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they tried to make one in episode 8.
Awful
to that extent, but that didn't work.
I swear on the both hearts of a Time Lord, he doesn't. There's no Doctor mode. He's not had his full-on speech yet. He's not had his Doctor speech, like bring down an army with just his words, like every other Doctor has. Even Jodie did a speech, man.
Yeah, there hasn't been a very cool, calm, collected Doctor yet.
And I don't feel like there's going to be.
Where the Doctor wins.
Yeah.
And he wins with that
his
sort of cold,
words.
calculating thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think there's going to be.
Do you not?
No.
I mean, that's what they tried to do already. It just didn't work. So maybe next time it'll be a bit better.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's like I say, they're not like then it's not founded in anything. You know, that arc and what he's saying in that scene. Any other thing you'd like to say then about Empire of Death?
Did
We've
not like
obviously
the
covered
Doctor's
the Ruby
costume.
stuff. The
Leather jacket
poncho thing. I like the leather jacket look.
No, the bit I liked was when he was finally in his Doctor gear at the very, very end.
Oh right, yeah, when he's standing in the TARDIS. No, that is an iconic look. That's his look.
He needs his look. This is like he's had some fun. He needs a look now.
Yeah,
it's getting boring.
Obviously, there's gonna I don't mind variations.
Yeah,
but it feels like there's so many outfits that I don't like. There's a lot of them I don't really like, and I think we've talked about it before, where there are outfits that we don't think of work. Like the one in 73 yards, I just don't like that look. And there's another one.
There was someone at my window. It was a bit weird. It was just someone picking up dog poo outside the house.
Lovely. There was an outfit that I think is too domestic, and I think you get pretty close to it with the one in the finale.
Boom was very domestic,
and there's the sort of like pea. No, it wasn't. It was a bit more style to that outfit.
Yeah, but it wasn't Doctor style, which is a mixed match, but somehow it goes.
The sort of velvety colouring, like jacket sort of thing.
But it was a mixed match, but somehow it goes. Whereas that was a styled outfit. So, personally, I'm going to be honest. My favourite Doctor outfit that we've had is the one from the very first. Is one from the start of Devil's Cord, where he's got that big orange collar. I love that.
That outfit.
I love that.
Oh, right. Ooh, that's a surprise. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, loved it.
Used in one scene.
Right. So should we do Empire Death review?
Yes, Empire of Death. Out of
3,
10.
2, 1, 4.
5.5.
Cool.
That's not too much of a difference.
I'm alright with that.
Is it?
Future of Doctor Who, Dan.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Comic-Con is a few days away as time of recording, so it may
honest?
Change.
Can I just say one thing?
Uh-huh.
I'm falling out of love with the show.
Whoa.
I know, it's not like I messaged you this privately already. Yeah, it's not.
I never heard that
anymore,
before.
Is it? It's not great anymore.
It's changing.
It's not great. It's not a good show. So that's that. Give us a 5. Give us like a 5-year break.
5-year break.
Yes, we've done it before. We can do it again.
I'm hoping that in the next couple of years,
Russell, if Russell wants to write again, Russell can write again. But Russell needs to actually look at the feedback and actually take on the feedback and not just go, "Oh no, I know best. I know best." Because you don't, Russell. You did, but your ego's got too big now. You need to listen to what the fans are actually saying, and not what your yes men around you are saying.
Not. It's not even about fans. I think it's just about having other writers and other people in that room look at it and sort of point those things out and help him with the scripts a little bit, because it's that soundboard.
He was talking with Moffat. It was like, oh, you can't just have the Doctor on a spaceship anymore. You need to have the Doctor on a spaceship, but this happens and this happens and this happens. No, you could just have a basic base under. The best Doctor Who episode is Base Under Siege. You don't need a this and a this and a this and a this. You just don't.
Do you think that they're trying to write for a new audience, and maybe that's where something like the teething issues
seen previous
have come in?
Doctor Who. The new audience will fall in love with the show for what made us fall in love with the show: character work and just a good story. You don't need a constant twist. And also, if you're gonna bring back a villain, you don't have to make it completely linked to the Doctor's past. Like me personally, when he brought back the Master, I didn't have a clue who the Master was. Loved the Master. I didn't realise there was previous Masters till I must have been like 10 or something. But I still got the Master straight away.
Yeah.
Sutek, the whole thing of relying on people's knowing Sutek's past didn't work.
grounded in his own history.
Yeah.
Which alienates people. Right. So, Will,
Thank you guys for watching.
looking forward to Christmas.
I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'll still watch the show. But
Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal, but
of course I'm always going to watch it. It's always my
I think
favourite
you're always
show,
gonna
but
watch
it's
it.
not. It's just a letdown. We all got so excited when Russell was coming back. It's a letdown.
I mean, with my friends, I think there was this thing of, oh, I can show them this because now there is Doctor Who that I will be proud to, like,
Yeah.
that will be
If anyone's
people,
like,
I can get people behind
I'm thinking of watching Doctor Who.
It's not
Where do I
feeling it.
start? I'm not going to say start from Ncuti. I'm going to go start from 9.
But obviously we're biased. But there'll be
No, I don't think
there'll
we
be
are.
a generation of
No, I don't
there'll be a
think we are.
generation of kids that will say start shooting.
No, there won't.
In the same way
When they
that there's
grow up
a
and watch
generation
9 and
saying
realise
start with Tom
that's
Baker.
Good Doctor Who.
They may do, but then as we get older, our episodes that we adore will go down in into the archives and
We'll go
as
down
TV and
Paradise
as
Towers episode.
as
That's awful,
what-
by the way.
as what people enjoy.
That's awful, by the way.
It will go down.
I was
Paradise
watching,
Towers. It's so weird.
I was watching a review of Death, and they would talk about Paradise Towers, and I thought, oh, let's just watch it. It's awful. Yeah.
I've got a weird sweet spot for McCoy episodes. But anyway,
What's the third Doctor episode that's awful? Pirate something.
There's a fourth one called The Pirate Planet.
No,
Douglas Adams.
can't remember.
Pirate?
It might not be Pirate. I can't remember.
There's not. I don't think there's a third Doctor episode with the title Pirate.
I can't remember. Anyway, thanks guys
Anyway,
for listening to us watching. I want to go have my dinner, so
yeah. Will, you're just shrouded in darkness. But Will, before you go,
like and subscribe.
where can you find the podcast?
You can find the podcast on Spotify, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podchaser, anywhere. To be honest,
Anywhere.
Dan loves
Any bin.
Dan loves money. Oh, speaking of Dan loves money, send us some money on Ko-Fi, whatever it's called.
Ko-Fi.
Please.
For more microphones, and
for-
hopefully will buy a light.
I've got my torch. It's fine. Bye, guys. Oh wait, I still got my iPhone torch on. That didn't work.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Wait, hold on.
I can just see the reflection of your glasses and your ear against the window.
For fuck's sake.
Ooh, scary.
Bye.